How I got married, my 5 steps after heartbreak. Yes, I went through heartbreak many times, not just this time, but this one was very significant for me because it took me from rock bottom all the way to alhamdulillah in a healthy, happy marriage. Okay. So a few years ago, I went through a broken engagement. And at that time, I told myself that I would honestly never get married. I remember when I came out of it, and I'm not going to talk about the experience and what happened because I don't think that's relevant to whatever it is. Everyone goes through their own circumstances. But basically, at that time, I'd gotten burned, like in my own sense, right? So at that time, I had a lot of resentment, and just off the cuff, there was a movement. It was called the Red Pill, and the Red Pill was like basically a group of men that were kind of like talking about female nature, female nature, female nature. At that time, it hit me because I was like, I resonate with this. I really understand this. This is it, right? So at that time, I had a lot of resentment. I really had something against women. Like I just felt like it's their fault. Like it's like what can we do with women? Like nah. So I had a lot of resentment. Okay, but alhamdulillah, I did get married, and today I want to share the 5 exact steps that helped me go from heartbreak to clarity. Because a lot of people fall into this step. Where is it? The resentment. They feel like they've gotten burned. Now they don't want to get married. Brothers and sisters, it's both. Okay, so I'm going to go step by step. This is literally what I did myself, and I hope this will benefit one of you, especially for those of you who are kind of finding your way. Maybe you just got divorced, maybe you got broken engagement, maybe you got rejected by a potential person, right? They don't want to be with you, right? You got rejected. This is for you, okay? So the very first thing I did was take care of my health, okay? I started hitting the gym consistently, right? I was always consistent with my gym journey. Like I've always been consistent with my fitness with that. But this time it was with a purpose. I was like, I'm gonna work on my self image. I'm gonna work on my health. I'm gonna work on everything me, like myself, right? Work on my connection with Allah. I'm gonna work on myself. I'm really gonna become the best version that I can possibly be. Because before I was hitting the gym, I was pretty consistent, but I didn't have that fuel. I had that. What happens is when you go through heartbreak, or when you go through something like that, you're going to have so much fuel within you that you're going to just want to achieve something. And this is what I did, right? There's a video that I used to watch on YouTube. And this guy, every single day, I would, every time I would go for a workout, I would listen to that video. It's like a 10-minute video. Why you're not able to attract the woman that you want, right? And it's funny because the guy was saying like, he's like, people keep asking me, hey, like, why are you making all these videos about getting in shape? Why are you making these videos talking about how you can get more women? And he's like, but this is how you get more women. This is how you do it. You take care of yourself. You take care of your health, right? Is the reason why he's saying the reason why a lot of you aren't achieving what you guys want to achieve is because you guys are looking for the quick fixes. You're looking for the pickup lines, the questions to ask. People are looking for all these different things, but you yourself have not developed. So I used to listen to every single time I'd go for a workout and listen to that. I'd literally go for my workout, listen to that, right? And it really stuck with me, right? And then it's funny because as soon as I started really focusing down on my health, especially, that's when doors started opening up, right? I started to look into myself and I was like, okay, alhamdulillah, like now you've really focused on your self-image. At that time, I was part of a group, a mentorship group, and alhamdulillah, I actually ended up being the community manager for that. That's a whole different topic. But I really focused on my self-image because I realized that as much as we want to say, oh, looks doesn't matter, it's good to take care of yourself. It's not just about the outside, but it's also how you feel. So that was a huge part. So at this point, I started talking to different people. I started to have potentials, right? Things were opening up. The first impression started to come in, but there was one problem. I still didn't solve the problem of my resentment, of feeling like, oh, like this, right? So I realized that confidence alone wasn't enough. And deep down, I still had the bitterness of the engagement, not just the engagement, but just a lot of past experiences. I felt like I'd always gotten burned, right? I'd always felt like I always gotten like, the end of the stick, right? Like, just hit the road, right? Type of thing. And at that time, I was still in this mindset, like I'll never ever get married, right? So what happened was I was in this city for a minute. I was like, man, I got to get out of here. So what happened was I went to Toronto for a week, like a week or so, and I just did a healing course. I found a healing course online actually, right? Like I wasn't my intention to do it, like when I went, but I saw it and I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just take it. And every day that I was in Toronto, I'd listen to like a video just about the healing, right? And that actually really helped me heal. I started to understand things as they are, right? It forced me to actually process everything, forgive, and really clear out that resentment that I was feeling. And honestly, healing was the bridge between being stuck in the past and being ready for an actual future. Now, I wasn't fully there yet, but it really opened my eyes and it really helped me put things in perspective. And especially in a Dean point, right? At that time, I was still trying to figure things out. I was still like, obviously, I would say I was still like consistent with my actions, but there's a lot of internal work that I needed to do within myself. And that's what I really focused on. So at that point, I had the physical side, and then now I focused on the internal side. And that's when I really needed to focus on myself. And I started journaling more. I started taking time to go for more walks as I usually do, right? My workouts started to become less about aesthetics and more about just taking care of my mental, which hence why my handle is fit for mental, right? So that was a huge part. And after that, I changed the way that I saw the opportunity that came in, right? I used to close doors immediately. No, she's not my type. Doesn't fit. Nah, I'm not interested. My mindset was literally like, if I met anyone, it would say, oh, this person's going to leave eventually. This person's not going to interested in me. This is not going to work because she's not interested. Even if it was someone that I felt like was more interested in me, I would self-sabotage. And this person would be interested in pursuing going further, but I would be stuck in this thing where it's like, I'm unsure. And when you're like that, like women will understand. They'll see it, right? They'll see if you're unsure because at the end of the day, we're the men, right? We're men, right? If you're a sister watching this, I'm sure you can resonate with this, but you're a man. So what happens is when you're a man, if you're indecisive, especially when you're married, if you're indecisive, then you're kind of going away from your fitrah, which is being a man, right? So it's a huge part of it. So I opened my eyes. I got presented with a few people, and even though I wasn't open to some of them, I kind of said, okay, you know what? Let me just open my eyes to it, right? And then the next one, and this is actually step 4, which I'll actually share. It was istikhārah. So istikhārah was something that every time I was meeting someone new, because for me, when I mean talking to someone, I don't mean like I'm talking to them like I'm a couple. I'm talking to them because I want to get to know them, right, and see if they're good, right? So anytime I met anyone, I would literally do istikhārah almost like the same day. And I always did it anytime I met anyone because I'm like, okay, well, if this is person's maybe, okay, let's see. And this is the reason why I did it is because I had zero emotional attachment to this person. Zero. No emotional attachment. A mistake a lot of people do when they make istikhārah is they'll go through this process, right? They'll fall for this person and they'll go into istikhārah already knowing what they want to do, but they're doing istikhārah just to reinforce that idea. You're not able to think clearly because you're already thinking in that sense where you're like, oh, well, I'm already here, so why not, right? So this is something that's super important, okay? So this is something that I personally did, and it really helped me gain the clarity that I was personally looking for. And every time, like I said, every time I made istikhārah, something would happen. I always just say it's a tornado, and then all of a sudden it would end. Like it would just end. Boom. Either me, either this person, it just end. And I'm like, okay, perfect, right? So that was a huge one. Now the next one is a really important one as well. Is the moment I was interested in someone, I went straight to my family, no games, no wasting time. And one thing I will say about this is I kept it very low key with my friends. I did not tell my friends who I was talking to. Like my friends probably don't know half the people that I was talking to for marriage because I just kept it low key. What happens sometimes is when we meet someone, we feel like, oh, it's interesting, but we start telling people around. And once we start telling people around, it's like when you're starting a project or starting a business, right? And then you start telling everyone about your business. Oh yeah, I run this business, I'm doing this. It kind of eventually first of all, you every time you tell someone, it's kind of like reinforcing, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do, right? And a lot of people won't give you unbiased advice. They'll give you just, sometimes they'll reinforce, oh, this is awesome, I'm happy for you. Well, you're not married yet. Like, okay, you're talking to someone, but you're not married yet, right? So that's why it's good to keep it low key. Keep it low key and only involve the right people. So that's your family, her family. Maybe it's your local imam, someone who's an elder who's more experienced, right? So this is something that is very, very important when it comes to the family stage. And this is a moment where you and the person, whether it's the brother or the sister, you have to figure out, okay, now is the time to next steps. It shouldn't be you're talking to this person, you start talking to your friends. No, you should be you talking to this person. The next step is involving family or elders or imam, whatever, and then you kind of go from there, right? So this is super, super important. And that's honestly the steps that I took. Yeah, like taking care of my health, healing, opening the door, not closing the doors, istikhārah, and involving family. I went from bitter to and closed off to married, alhamdulillah, right? And if you're in that stage where you personally want to prepare for marriage in the right way, so I've put together a few resources to kind of help you with that. You can check the link down below. There's nothing specific, right? I have a few. I have a lot of options, right? I have a free guide, right? I have a full guide if you want to go through that guide, right? I have, if you want to hop on a call with me, you're more than welcome to. Mentorship, I don't have it open just yet, but it is going to open up, inshallah. So just click the link down below, check out the options that you have. I kind of made it like a little bit like of a store where if you want the free stuff, you can get the free stuff. If you want to get the paid stuff, alhamdulillah, you can get the paid stuff. I'm trying to do my best when I'm selling something to do it as ethically as I possibly can, because ultimately rizq comes from Allah. I also know that whatever I'm offering, it's gonna help. It's gonna help people. Like I know it's gonna help. Whether you're just getting the free guide, I know it's gonna help if you implement it. If you get the paid guide, it's gonna help you, inshallah. If you hop on a call with me, I'm a professional. Trust me. Ask my clients. I show up for my clients. So whatever you want to do, you just click the link down below, check it out, whatever option works best for you. And inshallah, we'll have a conversation. And yeah, I hope to hear more about your progress, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.